Yeah. The time has come for me to share my testimony. I'm very nervous. I'm not used to the camera, but I'll try. I hope this is audible. Now let me just hold it. So without wasting any time, let me begin. My name is Karao Kekana. I'm here to share my testimony about where I've come from in my faith, where I am now, and how everything began. So I've grown up in a very Christian household and currently still am. So I was groomed with Christianity from a very young age. As far as I remember, I've been a Christian, but I never fully gave myself to God. So years passed by. Let's fast forward to when I was 15. Oh, yeah, I never realized it was gonna be this difficult. But yeah, let's fast forward to when I was 15. I encountered my first, how can I put it, the first person that shared to me their testimony at that time when I was still in the world. I was listening to hip hop, fornicating at 15 on Twitter, because I didn't see fornication. For me, it wasn't something that I knew about. I just thought that it was only sex before marriage that was a sin, that I knew for sure. But then there's this other guy that approached me. I was with two of my friends. It was the three of us. He came to us. He was about the same age, I think. I was 15 at the time. So when this guy comes to us, he shares to us his testimony. So he comes and he talks about God. We were just walking, then he just comes to us. Then he tells us, actually I don't remember how it actually happened, but he started talking to us about God, and he told us how God showed up in his life at that time. So at that time, he said he was a addict of pornography and fornication, and at that time I never thought that was something. Fornication was not a word that I knew. I knew masturbation, answer, and it wasn't a word that for me, I didn't think it was a sin until that day. He explained to us how he came to God, whatever. So now it started hitting me that, hey, so all this time I thought I was just, as long as I'm not having sex with an actual person, it's not a sin, but it actually was. And that's when I became enlightened to that. But I still I wasn't ready to give myself fully to God, to say, yeah, I want to give my life to God. But his testimony, it stuck with me, because at the time, when the friends that I was with, they were laughing. It was funny, but for me, I was touched. So fast forward, I was still in the world. Let me say 16, listening to hip hop, and for me it was just music. I didn't really see a problem with listening to hip hop or secular music, if I may say. So now 16-year-old me at church, my church, when you turn 16, that's when you give your life to God, or you decide not to give your life to God. And when my parents asked me if I did, and it was like the COVID-19 times, so I felt like I don't think I'm ready for this. I don't think I'm gonna dedicate myself to God at this point in my life. I felt like I still had a lot of bad things to do. Yeah, that's the only way I can describe it. I felt like I still had a lot of bad things to do, and I kind of felt like I'm a bad person towards God. I felt like how will he take me if I come and I'm like this? I thought I had to wait to be perfect, then I can come as a perfect person. So yeah, for 16-year-old me, yeah, that was it really. Then my faith journey really started when I turned 17, because that's when my faith was truly tested. So fast forward, I turned 17. I'm still the same person I was when I was 16. So I'm still the same person I was when I was 16. So 17-year-old me now in matric gets a girlfriend on Tsar. So that's when my faith really started to be tested. So when I was in the relationship, my goal was only to make the other person happy and just give joy. Being in a relationship for me, it was never about sex. It was never something that was on my mind, because I knew that the plan for sex was marriage for me. So now I have a girlfriend. So this person, they believe in God, but it's not as I did once. So I find this person, they're already doing things in the world. Sex as an example. So now they approach me with the idea of it happening, and me like being now I started to become curious, or like actually I wanna know like what's the hype around it. So when they offered me the experience, unfortunately I took it. So, and this was actually the first time I felt demons entering into my body, because it happened that when the day that it happened, I went there. I was at her house. Then all of it happened from start to beginning. So the time comes when I have to go home. So when I go home, there's this long road that I used to take. So as I'm walking on this road, like I can feel like it's difficult for me to walk. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt like there's something that's entering into my body, and my mind knew and understood, and it told me that these are demon spirits entering inside your body. And that's when it hit me, or hey, what have I just done? What have I just put myself through? But still, I didn't think about God. I didn't think about God at all. But I just felt the pain until I got home. I felt that pain in my stomach. I couldn't walk for long without like holding my stomach to just make that pain like a little better. But I understood that that was demons entering my bone. But I ignored it. So I kept doing it for, let me say, 3 months. Then I started to feel conviction. I started to feel very, very convicted about what I was doing. So now I'm thinking to myself, this was not my plan. It started to hit me. So I'm thinking, or my plan for sex was marriage, and it was not just doing it like this. But in my stupid mind, you know what my mind said? My mind said, as like I feel like that those were the intrusive thoughts that the devil put in my mind. Because my thinking said, why shouldn't you do it? Because this is the person that you're planning to marry, so why not do it now? You're gonna marry this person anyway. But little did I know that that's not gonna happen. So yeah, so I kept doing it. I kept feeling convicted. Problems started arising in the relationship. Now fast forward how many months? Let me say 10 months in. 10 months in, when I really started to retract from, or rather, let me rather say refrain from having sex. When I started refraining from having sex in the relationship, all of a sudden problems started. And those problems, I'm trying to think. We took a break just before I was about to write finals. Then we took a break. That was, for me, that was devastating. I read what you call this, I studied to keep myself busy and to keep my mind away from that. But like I thought, like, and I sat with myself and thought, like, God, how? Why? I thought things should be this way, but they are not going this way, and I don't understand what's going on. But I'm like, God, I don't know. So this is my first answered prayer that I realized. This was we were still on a break, but she I feel like she kind of convinced me that I don't think she's coming back. That whole time she was supposed to come back, that I thought she would, she didn't. So I accepted. This was the 31st of December, right? So I kneeled that day and I prayed and I asked God, I'm like, God, why did you take this person out of my life? Because I feel like I had something good going on. Like, why did you do this? Why did you have to take this person out of my life? Like, why? Because it was so beautiful, it was so good. Then guess what? The next day, after I prayed that prayer, the next day, which was the 1st of January, it's a new year, that person came back. So when she comes back, I was kind of confused is this an answered prayer or what? Like, it was because it was so sudden. It's something that just happened and I couldn't figure it out in my mind. But because I thought I loved her, I took her back and things just continued. But now I put that boundary that I no longer want to do this, which is sex in the relationship, and I explained it to her, or I feel like there's some things that I want to do for my life and I feel like sex is hindering that, or it's stopping that for me. I don't know, it's making me feel uncomfortable. It was, or let me rather say convicted. I was feeling very convicted rather. So now, but she agreed that she also, she doesn't want to do it, wara. So for me, it was a happy moment because I was like, okay, this is something good to agree on. So now, fast forward few weeks, this person, I start to question their loyalty because the things that were she posted was questionable and she confessed to cheating. So I was very, 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 very surprised. I didn't expect that. And mind you, this person is confessing, so you don't know if this person is telling the truth or they're just joking. So I'm like, no, I need evidence. This person provides evidence that they're cheating to me, the person who cheat. So I'm asking this person, like, why? Like, how? And I'm thinking to myself, like, God, like, what's this now? Why? How can you bring someone back and then now this happens? I don't understand. So then I ended the relationship because I couldn't. Because for me, I thought to myself that I was engaging with sexual activity with this person. So when they cheat, they can kill me. Like what are you doing? Well, the people who cheat, I feel like they're capable of killing. Well, that's just what my thought process. I'm like, I should leave this person. But then my thought process changed. I became heartbreak. It broke me. But my questions were towards God. I was asking, like, why? How? Like, God, did you brought this person back so they can break me? I don't understand. Then there was a day where I understood the prayer differently. Babo. That day I understood the prayer in a sense that maybe God brought this person back so they can show me why he took that person in the first place. It's a lesson that I had to learn in order to grow. Then I understood it better. Then for that, now this is 2023, I turned 18. I was broken for a long time. So then there was this one time I just felt the need to go to church for some reason. I wanted to go to church. So that day when I come to church, a prophet took me to prophesize me, and God spoke to me through him. And that was the first time I ever experienced God's words directed to me. Like, that's the first time I experienced God firsthand. That's the first time I experienced God firsthand, like talking. I didn't even, like, the prophet was speaking, but it's like I felt like God was the one speaking those words to me. And the way the things that they said resonated with me and related to my life, I knew that it can only be God who knows this about my life, because I knew that I didn't talk much about what's happening in my life, what I'm doing. So I knew it had to be God. There was no way. There was nothing else. There was no way I could explain it. It could be like it must be God. So now my mind is like starting to realize that. That's when my mind started to realize that God, like, it's real. Like, I was not crazy to think that God is real, because God now is speaking to me. Oh, yeah. After that realization, that's really when I started to rethink my whole life, the decision that I made. But I was still lukewarm Christian. I still listen to. I deleted hip hop, but I listened to R&B, because I thought that was good because it didn't have any violence or drugs or anything. But what I didn't know was that it was promoting sex outside of marriage, or it was promoting all kinds of things. It was promoting sexual impurity. After that experience, I decided I told my father that now it's time, I want to go be baptized, to be a born again Christian. That's when I really I put everything down and just gave God my life, because at that time I felt like it's the same thing. I have nothing. Like, there is nothing I can lose by giving my life to God, but there is more that I can gain. But I have nothing to lose, because I didn't have anything. I only had plans to prosper my life and to make my life better, but I didn't have anything to do. So I gave my life to God. Wasn't so smooth sailing as I thought it would be. It was very tough, because I thought once I give my life to God, that means everything must just shine. Everything must just blossom. But no, I had to learn obedience. I had to master patience, which something it's an everyday struggle. Even now, I had to change who I am completely. The things that I say, how I use my words, because I used to swear a lot in the things that I say. I had to take that away. I had to change everything about myself, and God was working through me. So then I had my first encounter. I don't know, I can't remember how many weeks or months or whatever after I gave my life to God. But in this encounter, I was I'm in like what I know, what my mind told me is that where I'm at, it's like Judgment Day. Like we're standing on this long white, let me just say, like, I don't know if I should say road or what, but it's a long white thing. Then there's a door in front of us. So what was happening there, what God was showing me, there was this big door and there were two angels standing there. So there was someone in front of me, and this person was being judged by angels. So this person in front of me, they say things such as, I was a good person, like, Lord, I was a good person, I did good things, please, I was a good person in the world, I'm not a bad person, whatever, things of that nature. And I'm looking at this person, they take this person, they throw them to my right, your left, my right. And I'm thinking, I'm like, hey. And mind you, I'm next. I'm the one who's going to be judged next after this person. This person is in front of me. After the person in front of me, it's my turn. And what my mind told me and what I understood about them taking him and throwing him to wherever they threw him, I understood that is hell. Because it was just like this, what we are on, it's white, and the door it's white, but everything else besides it's just dark, and they threw him into that darkness. And what my mind told me when I was there was that wherever they threw him there, that's hell. So I'm like, me being next, I'm telling myself, the things that he said, this means that I shouldn't say them. I shouldn't say the things that he said. So I come up next. So when I come up next, I'm standing there. They look at me and I start to confess. I spoke about all the bad things that I did. I didn't say one single good thing that I did on earth. And then they allowed me to enter heaven, and the dream just ended. The door opened and everything, like it's a bright light that you can't see. Then the dream changed. Then ever since that encounter, it made me understand the power of confession, the power of honesty with God. So I became closer and closer to God after that encounter. But I didn't even know that's what it's called at that time. I didn't even know that it's called an encounter, what had happened. But yeah, basically that's how I came to God. It might not be the most gruesome or the most graphic testimony, but God sent me here to come and share it with you guys. So there is someone that is supposed to be impacted by this testimony, as small as it seemed, as tiny as it is. It took for me to come to God. It wasn't something gruesome or something huge, because I usually hear testimonies and people went through a lot, but this is just my 2 cents of coming to God. And that's the end of my testimony. That's the end of my message. And I thank you.